Right now, it's time for our elementary and more update. And this morning, we check in with Angela Johnston over at St. Mary's School in Brunson. And first of all, good morning. And looks like your second quarter is coming to an end here this week, right?
That is so hard to believe. But yes, our second quarter ends on Friday, and we'll get ready to gear up and start our third quarter already this year.
And so how do you think the students have been doing there at St. Mary's so far this year?
You know, there's a lot of things this year that we've seen that have been great growth with the kids. We've been doing a lot with whole brain teaching, and so that we're noticing some changes in the classroom from utilizing that technique in the classroom and in our teaching. So we've seen some great growth with our kids.
Great, and growth in kids is always a good thing. No matter, I have a 4-year-old, and I see the growth in her all the time, from her writing to everything else there too. So always a good thing to see the kids kind of growing and learning more from a standpoint on that end too.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Right. Well, you also have Catholic Schools Week coming up. Not just you, but all of the Catholic schools, right?
Yeah, that is nationwide. So, and we all celebrate the same week. It starts January 28th, and it goes the whole week. And it gives us an opportunity to really honestly stop and think about what makes our school possible. And we're able to thank our community, because without our community, we couldn't do it. We get to thank our parish family. We get to thank the families for wanting a Catholic education for their kids. We get to thank the students. We thank our staff. So, you know, there's a lot of people that really make Catholic school education possible, and that's our week to really think about it and to thank all those that make it possible.
All right. And so moving on to February, of course, you have some other events planned, including a roundup, right?
It's hard to believe, but it's time for us in February 1st. We start enrollment for next year. So we have our kindergarten and preschool roundup on Wednesday, February 21st. And so, but it's that time where we get to start thinking about next year and letting people see the school. So that's when we'll have our roundup for our preschoolers and our kindergartners.
And it's winter, which means time to do some stuff indoors, including some sports activities, and you have basketball coming up, right?
We are in basketball season. So our Sturgis Christian League plays lots of their games here, because you know how gym availability is in so many places. It's difficult. So we have lots of the games here, but it's basketball season, and we're excited. We started cheerleading this year, so that's new for our school. And we're up and running, and our first game is this Thursday.
All right, just before the storm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we also have, you have a trip coming up to the nation's capital here.
We do. We go to Washington, D.C. in March. Our 7th and 8th graders have been studying American history, and so we take them to Washington, D.C. this year and kind of culminate their learning for all of their American history with that trip to Washington, D.C. So they've been doing lots of fundraising and preparing to go on that trip. So that'll be a fun thing, and it's a great way for them to put it all together.
I went to Washington, D.C. a number of years back. It was only for a day. I wish I had been there for several days, because there's just so much to see there, especially the museums. The Smithsonian museums are just excellent, absolutely excellent.
You betcha, and there is a lot to see. And, you know, we're very blessed. We have a contact that we have that's someone that I know that works at the Pentagon that was there in 9/11. And he takes some time and gives them the tour of Arlington Cemetery and talks about what happened on 9/11 and what it was like to be in that situation. And they just really get a lot from their D.C. trip.
Yeah, and the truth of the whole matter is, 9/11 being over 20 years ago. Of course, you and I remember it like it was yesterday, but for the younger kids, they were all born afterwards, and they have really no clue about what happened. Yeah.
So to hear it from someone that actually lived it and was in it helps them to really put it together and make sense of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you, Angela, for checking in with us this week. We'll check in with you, looks like, in March, okay?
You betcha. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. All right, bye. All right, so that's Angela Johnston with us from St. Mary's School in Brunson with our elementary and more update on AM 1590 and FM 95.5 WTVB.